This video is specifically for home sellers or people that are thinking about selling their homes. It's about 2 real-world mistakes that I observed this week that if you're even thinking about selling a house, you want to make sure that you do not make these mistakes. Now, on the other hand, if you're a home buyer, although this really isn't advice for you, you may want to take the time to look out for home sellers that are making these 2 mistakes, because it might save you a bunch of money. Now, here's the setup. I was previewing a home this week, and the listing agent was there, and he and I were talking. The house has been on the market for a little while, and he asked me why I thought the homes weren't selling. Well, I didn't answer his question, but I'm going to tell you what I think. Problem number 1, the seller removed the furniture. Now, online, this home looked great. The furniture was perfect. The house was nicely staged, but it's now empty. So there are 3 problems with this that are going to cost the seller a bunch of money. Number 1 is that the pictures online don't match the reality. So you've got buyers that are, scrolling on their phone, looking at these great pictures, and then they show up and the house looks very different. Secondly, an empty house looks like a wholesale product, but he's trying to get a high-end retail price. And then number 3, and this is perhaps most important, it's very hard to emotionally connect with an empty house. For example, if you go look at any new home builder tract, you will not find a single room in any model home that doesn't have furniture in it. They work very, very hard to make it super easy for a buyer to emotionally connect with the home. An empty home, you just can't do that, and it's going to cost this guy a lot of money. Problem number 2, low buyer's agent commission. The compensation that this seller is offering to buyer's agents is far below average. Now, here's the thing that you have to really remember. In order to sell a house, you have to sell it 2 times. Number 1, of course, to the buyer. And as we already talked about, this guy's making a mistake with the furniture and the pictures and all of that. But the second time you have to sell it is to the agent. What this guy is essentially saying is, hey, if you sell my house, you're going to have to take a hefty pay cut in order to do it. Here's the problem. Put yourself in those shoes. You're at work and your boss comes to you and says, hey, I've got 2 different projects for you to work on. And they're basically going to be the same amount of effort and the same amount of work. The problem is, with one of those projects, you're going to get 1/3 the pay. Are you actually going to even think about taking that project? Of course you're not. And it's the same with real estate agents. In fact, if this seller was smart, he would actually offer a bonus so that when an agent is looking out at all the homes on the marketplace, that house is going to stand out, that he's going to make more money. That's what you want to do, is you want to give those agents that are actually working for you, they're essentially your salespeople that are out working hard to try to sell your house. You want to give them even more reason to show a buyer your house. And furthermore, imagine this. Imagine that this guy, if he had been offering some sort of bonus commission on that sale, well, not only would negotiations be easier, but if there was a problem in escrow, do you think that agent is going to let his buyer leave? Of course not, because he's going to want to earn that commission. Now, for me, for the buyers that I work with, I avoid this as a problem altogether. I sign compensation agreements with my buyers right up front. So I get paid the same no matter what house they buy. But the reality is the overwhelming vast majority of real estate agents, probably 95%, don't work that way. So they're subject to whatever any individual seller is going to offer them as far as compensation. And if you're going to say, hey, look, you're going to get a pay cut, they may not even show your house in the first place. Now, if you as a seller would like to talk to me about these strategies and the other strategies that I use, please call me. My number is 949-413-2371. You can also email me, michael@housemgroup.com. Thanks so much and have a great day.